Good riddance. That's what the board of the Catholic Cemeteries says to Archbishop Savio Hantai Fai, who just fired the board and administrator last Friday. The former board held a press conference today and simultaneously released a contentious report they believe proves Monsignor James Beneventi misused cemetery funds for his personal use for years. Roland St. Augustine, attorney Jacqueline Terlahi, Dennis Santo Tomas, and Lillian Perez Posadas make up the board of directors of the Catholic Cemeteries of the Archdiocese of Agana, all of whom were just fired by temporary church administrator Archbishop Savio Hantai Fai. But the four did not put up a fight to keep their positions. They said, good riddance.
This board effectively and immediately resigns their directorships due to the request of the delegate to turn a blind eye to the absolute misuse of funds. The board has been requested to disregard the laws and standards governing this nonprofit corporation and in good conscience to the church, to the truth and the laws of GUAM, we decline to participate in this attempt to subvert justice for the dead and the families who have entrusted the cemeteries to utilize the funds paid for services for the cemeteries and not for any personal use.
Terlahi led the press conference today and spoke about a deliberate cover-up on Monsignor James Beneventi. Monsignor James was ousted in 2014 by Archbishop Anthony Apparon for misuse of cemetery funds. Earlier this month, however, Monsignor James was cleared of any wrongdoing, his name restored, and he was given an important position in the church as the apostolic administrator of church patrimony, which essentially means he will be in charge of assessing church assets. Minutes after today's press conference, the former board released a full report detailing what they believe to be Monsignor James's misuse of funds.
The board of directors of the Catholic Cemeteries of GUAM unanimously believes that its conduct related to the release of information on the misuse of cemetery funds is justified by the truth and supported by the documentation and records maintained with the corporation, in addition to the review findings of the Deloitte & Touche report dated January 8, 2014. Because this board has revealed the truth and abided by its obligation to protect cemetery funds, the current administration of the Archdiocese of Agana has decided to silence our board by terminating directors without cause and without proper authority.
The report includes numerous credit card statements, a couple of contracts, and Catholic Cemeteries checks signed by Monsignor James, who was the director of the Catholic Cemeteries. The credit card statements show that the credit card belonging to the Catholic Cemeteries was used for things like dinners, hotel stays at the Shangri-La in Makati, accommodations in Chicago and Boston, a stay at PIC worth over $1,300, medication, travel, and other charges. Also in the report are two burial contracts, one for Monsignor James and another for Frank Sanchez. The contracts are for private family plots that are both valued at $190,000 each. But in the contract, the charges appear to have been waived. Finally, there are checks signed by Monsignor James payable to the Agana Cathedral Basilica for the repayment of loans. Attorney Terlahi and the other former board members did not take any questions from the media.